This is a story of a doctor who died. Yes, died. And came back with a story that science can't explain. This is her near-death experience. So it starts in 1999. Dr. Mary Neal, who is an orthopedic surgeon, mind you, a mother, and definitely would consider herself a scientist. So Mary was kayaking on a remote river in Chile with her husband and a group of friends when she went down a waterfall patch, and she was stuck there underwater. And from the stories that I've heard through her and through her friends recapping this story, she was far away. It was hard to get to her, like physically, they couldn't get to where she was. And the water was rushing so hard that she couldn't get out of her kayak. She was stuck in the kayak. Her kayak was stuck and her friends and husband could not get to her. It took them at least 15 to 25 minutes just to get to her. So she was underwater, not breathing, for around 25 minutes. Now, from a medical standpoint, she's a doctor, right? She's a doctor. She understands what this means. I'm a nurse. I understand what this means. You can't be underwater, not breathing for 25 minutes and still be alive. So she was clinically dead. By the time her friends and husband got to her to get her out of the water, no one thought they were going to find her alive, and they didn't. Now, we all know, because of the title of the video, that she didn't die, right? So she can recap her story of this time. And she said during this time, she never felt like she actually died. It was like she went from being trapped underwater, never feeling panic, she said. And then she said she felt more at peace and more alive. So once she had died, she said it never really felt like she died. It felt like she went from peace to more peace and being more fully alive. The way Mary described it was she could feel her spirit leave her body. She could feel herself leave the river and almost go into another realm. A realm that felt more real than here ever could, she said. She said she was greeted by spiritual beings, ones that felt peaceful, loving, and definitely familial and familiar. She said she didn't know what they were. She said spirit beings, angels, but she just said that they were radiating these really good, peaceful feelings. She says it felt like coming home, which I don't know if you guys see my other videos, but I often talk about dying, feeling like going home. Of course, I've never died, so I don't really know, but that is how I always felt. I've always felt like when I die, I know I'm gonna wake up in a place that feels more like home than here ever could. And this has been her experience. Mary describes this realm as being more beautiful than like words here could describe. She said there's vibrant colors that she can't describe, sounds that weren't really heard but felt, and there was an overwhelming presence of God. Okay, so here's where it gets most powerful though. This part of the story is what really drives it home for me, that she truly was there and she truly did get a message. So all while Mary was experiencing this, by the way, her husband and friends had drug her body out of the kayak. And remember, they're on a remote river in Chile. So they were struggling to get help, to even get anyone to come down there. They were trying CPR. They were doing everything they could to bring, quote unquote, Mary back. However, none of it was working. And it took a very long time for anybody to actually get a rescue team down there to get her to the hospital. By this time, Mary had been dead, brain dead, fully flatline gone for at least 30 minutes or more, which as a nurse who understands truly what that means, the fact that Mary could have ever come back and made a full recovery from that is a true miracle. Science could 100% not explain this. There is literally no way, from what we know about how the body works, that someone could be dead, not getting blood flow to the brain for 30 minutes and come back and make a full recovery. There is no scientific way that could possibly happen, just FYI. So now back to Mary. Mary is in this loving, wonderful, peaceful place that feels like home to her. But she then gets another loving message from these beings, and I believe it was somewhat telepathically, that she could not stay here, that it wasn't her time. She still had things to do on Earth, and they gave her something very specific. She was told, and this is where it gets heartbreaking, her oldest son would die, and she needed to be there when he did. So of course, when Mary heard this, she was devastated, and she begged and begged and begged for them not to have this happen, or to allow her to stay and not allow that to happen. You know, making bargains like, I don't want this to be. But again, she was told in a very, very loving way, she said, that this is the plan. She will be okay. She will be held during it all, and she will be prepared. While Mary was hearing this, her friends and husband were working on resuscitating her on the riverbank in Chile, where a rescue team eventually came, flew her out, where she was thought to be dying overnight. But miraculously, she wakes up, she's in a hospital bed. They did eventually fly her out to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where she made a full recovery. Now, it was a long journey. It wasn't like she woke up and was perfectly fine. There was a long journey ahead for her, but she did fully recover. Now, after she fully recovered, and while she was fully recovering, she still knew what she had gone through. She still remembered what had happened to her, who she had met, and what they had said, which was her son would die. She knew her oldest son would die, and die soon. They didn't say exactly when or how or where, but she knew he would die, and she knew he would die young. And that is why she came back, so she could be there for her family when he did. So over the years after she recovered, she kept that secret about knowing that her son would die to herself. But she said that she did try to live in peace with that truth, just remembering what she had felt and witnessed after she had died, knowing that there is a full plan, that her son, when he did die, would be fully taken care of, just like she was when she died. And sure enough, 10 years later, in 2009, her son tragically died in a car accident. I believe he may have been hit by a car. Mary said at the time, as horrible as it was and as horrible as it still is, she felt the truth of what was told to her in that moment. And it really helped validate that like what she experienced was real, was true, and she truly knows and believes that her son is okay, and that anyone and everyone who dies lives on and is okay, and it's all part of a bigger plan. So Dr. Neal since then obviously has had a change in perspective. She is still a surgeon. She says she's still like a type A pragmatic person who is grounded, but also has this deep, deep faith, knowing spirituality that there is something after we die, and that our lives are divinely guided, and she is deeply, deeply and divinely cared for, just like she believes everyone else is. The book she wrote that I love and I have read is called To Heaven and Back. I believe she has other books written. She has a website. She does speaking engagements. And like I said, she's still a surgeon. Just an amazing story that really solidifies what I already believe. As a hospice nurse, you guys know I talk all the time about the things that I've witnessed from dying people, them visioning and seeing their loved ones, them saying they see angels, them talking about a beautiful scene or beautiful music they're hearing right before they die. All of these things go along with things that people who have had near-death experiences say that they've also experienced after they've died. I want to start doing more of these stories. I think it's important we kind of spread the word of other people's experiences. So if you have a story like this, or if you experience something like this, please email me so I can share your story.